jutro, dobar dan. It's quite surprising to me how a lot I can understand from Slovenština. However, I will hold from manifesting my skills, and the rest of the presentation will be delivered in, let's say, simple English. And najlepsza chwala for organizers, for hosts, for this excellent idea, making this event in this exceptional place. However, cloud limits visibility, so we cannot change it. What we can change, on the other hand, is to improve visibility and security in public cloud tools. So we will focus on this for the next couple of minutes. Regardless what we think about COVID, definitely it has huge impact for IT industry, for reality, because there was a rapid, quite forced adoption of public cloud tools like video conferencing, moving some workloads into the cloud. Also, work from home or work from anywhere became to be kind of next reality. Still, many organizations are keeping this work mode, at least for significant part of the week. So, but cloud is also a challenge, not only the opportunity how to deal with so-called black swan events like pandemic, but this is also a challenge because cloud brings some complexity to IT as well. As we can see, this is our screenshots from Azure, from AWS, the console of the operator. There is such a vast amount of new services that it's easily to get confused. On the other hand, also, if we launch the services, most of them have serious security implications. And how it is in life, if we have to react quickly, then functionality is the first. Security, okay, we'll think about it a bit later, which unfortunately goes to some errors in security practices or some wrong practices. Launching new services in the cloud results in increased attack surfaces because many services are exposed directly to the internet. Many staging, testing environments are running. Sometimes they are forgotten. Data buckets can be abandoned, which is the source of some significant data leaks. So definitely we have to deal with this situation. How? Usually by combination of traditional protection, traditional countermeasures, but as well as we have to learn something new, some new tools, cloud native, let's say, how to provide security. That's why we, as Juniper, propose you kind of journey, kind of trip, multi-stage trip. Not all of these steps from these trips are required for every organization. You don't have to keep even the sequence. Just pick whatever you want. Even if some of you are non-cloud adopters because of some reasons, strategic organization or data confidentiality is crucial, some of these tools still you might use in your organization just to secure your virtual environment. So first of all, let's connect in a secure way to the cloud, and let's do micro-segmentation, because this is also important to limit the blast radius in case of successful attack. And then let's maybe try to leverage cloud more. Maybe shift some management and reporting efforts, visibility into the cloud, and as the last stage, we can even try move even more security into the cloud from on-premises devices. Let's start from the first step, so how to connect in a secure way to the cloud and do micro-segmentation. Our working horse for this is virtual SRX. It's part of our security portfolio, but this part was quite underestimated a bit. Just in the center of this of the screen, you can see virtual SRX and containerized SRX. VSRX is quite a powerful unit. This is the multi-CPU unit, so we can dedicate just a single core for Juno's control plane, and the rest of the cores, up to 16 cores, just to process data plane, process traffic of the users. The more diverse traffic, the more flows, then the load share across all of the cores is more equal, so the aggregate performance of the virtual appliance is bigger. And it's quite decent firewall. That's not only that Juniper says it, but also some other institutions for industrial assessments, some testings showing that the value of the security appliance is quite high. And fresh off the press, we were announced by Cyberratings in the recent test that we have the best performing firewall for cloud services, for public cloud. Actually, this specific test was done for Amazon Web Services. The link for the report, for the full report, will be provided to you as well. So quite decent appliance. However, dealing with public cloud for networking guy or network security guy, traditional network security guy like me, is kind of challenging because this is completely new environment. A part of that, we inside the cloud, we can have geo-redundancy, availability zones, and so on. Still, we accept to have high availability. To share the load, for example, to set up VPN tunnels to 2 appliances, which will work in high availability. However, public cloud is a different animal. Usually, we don't have control over layer 2. There is nothing like layer 2 in public cloud. There is just layer 3. Most of the classic cluster architectures leverage layer 2 to connect between nodes. So how to deal with this situation? Well, there are a couple of proposals on the forthcoming slides, but also we have to leverage some cloud native tools like health checking, like dealing with routing tables, maybe even some serverless functions, so doing some automation. This example comes from AWS environment, how we connect to our workloads in the public cloud. From on-prem cluster of SRXs, which is on the top, we can connect to the two separate virtual SRXs, which are on the bottom of the screen. There is no stateful failover. There are 2 VPN tunnels connecting locations, working concurrently at the same time. However, for failover, we are using BGP protocol or other dynamic routing protocol, which is running inside the tunnel. We can also manipulate routing tables with automation in case of failover, and we do health checking from the cloud by CloudWatch, for example, just in order to check whether our VSRX is working properly. It's one of examples. Another example, Microsoft Azure. We can do, actually similar you can do in AWS as well. However, in this example also groups virtual appliances in something which is called virtual machine scaling set. So we can measure the load of the VSRX, and in case if the performance, if the traffic is growing, the new virtual appliance can be instantiated. Can be spin up. We can measure, and then if the traffic is slower, we can just turn off these appliances. So that's another example. One of the recent additions to virtual SRX is also that we can set up the cluster across layer 3 with just a single link. This was primarily developed for mobile service providers, but eventually it came also to smaller devices and virtual appliances as well. However, not each and every feature will benefit from this by keeping stateful failover, but it is limited only to stateful firewall, to NAT, and to IPsec VPN. But maybe for some use cases, it's fair enough. Why also it's good to get interested virtual SRX to deal with public cloud? This is existing use case from the big web portal here in Central Eastern Europe region from Google Cloud Platform. The web portal had their staging environments on the bottom in the cloud. They even mirrored these environments to try to do some different things. On the top, actually these workloads from the cloud were using also for health checks some resources which were on premises, exposed to the internet. The challenge in Google was that health checks were coming from the same IP address prefixes. But if these are different routing instances on the left and right, which means that health check coming from the right side resources were asked and then answered. Traditional routing directed the response to the left side. Health check fails. How to deal with this situation? On VSRX, we could make it by leveraging, so dividing virtual appliance into virtual slices, into virtual routers, leaking routes between these virtual appliances. That's why we could divert responses to the proper workloads of the in the cloud. And also with secondary IPs, we could make these health checks even looking unique from the perspective of the workloads on premises. So very flexible appliance, which helps to deal with some corner cases. Last use case, actually from the same customer. If we will have more workloads in the cloud, more VPCs, so-called VPCs, more environments like here, how to connect them, how to microsegment, but make them talk to each other at the same time, all of them. The response was, let's create another dedicated virtual network, VPC, in Google language, and then let's run BGP between VSRXs. Let's create BGP neighborships. For bigger scale, even we can leverage features like root reflector on SRX, and then we can communicate easily between all of these resources. So just another example contributing to flexibility of this tool. That's also contribute to the fact, well, why I should use virtual appliance of given vendor while cloud provides me separate their own virtual appliances because of these tweaks, because of the flexibility, and because of the next step on the journey, which is management. Because you can have consistent single security policy across all organizations. So how we can manage SRXs? On box, of course, we can manage with security director application on premises, and it still is developed and will be developed. The next release is also a security director delivered directly from the cloud. Thanks to this, we can have consistent security policy spanning all of the organization, regardless its local data center, regardless its branch, or maybe resources in public cloud or on the local hypervisor. And we have visibility, what's going on. So what are the features? There is a complete feature set supporting entire life cycle of the virtual appliance, starting from onboarding device and going through configuring security policy, logs reporting, creating reports for management, and so on. For those of you who are a bit familiar with existing security director on premises, this looks very similar, but it was just ported to the cloud and, of course, adopted some cloud-native technology to work better in the scale. Next containers are launched, so scale is not a problem. So we can basically see who is doing what attacks are coming, or even or just who is using bandwidth, who are top talkers, who is wasting bandwidth, or maybe it might be, in case of public cloud, to get data from the cloud, it costs money as well. So maybe also it might be also source to do some optimizations. And so that was a second step, extending management. Now I will make one step forward, maybe not on this podium because I would fall out from it. I would try to avoid it. How to shift even more enforcement to the cloud. And there is a concept called SASE coming into play. Actually, I was talking a bit about SASE in the last year's virtual edition of SmartCom Open Day, but we made some progress on this path. So general trend or proposal from the industry is that let's get rid out of the device on premises, the edge device which is doing some stuff, tries to do everything. Let's split the functions to two categories. SASE means Secure Access Services Edge, and this secure access pertains to, let me go back here, WAN edge or SD-WAN applications. So SD-WAN device which is sitting on premises, but where to do all those computationally expensive features? we can do it right in the cloud. Intense layer 7 analysis and so on. And this part is called SSE, Secure Services Edge. And regardless what we think, analysts are predicting that either with entire SASE or maybe just part of this, like SD-WAN or SSE, there will be big growth on the market and consolidation. Consolidation is also useful for us as a users, because we can have just single or just handful of user interfaces where we can deal with different features. So regardless of what analysts are saying, there has to be something in this. It has to solve some challenges. General promise behind SASE is the following. The transport across the WAN network should be intelligent. On the one hand, our system should react accordingly for changing conditions on the network. If SLA is violated, if latency for critical application is exceeded, let's redirect. This is promise of SD-WAN. On the other hand, everybody would expect also keeping advanced security intact, because we don't want to sacrifice security for the sake just of the having reliable transport. So for SD-WAN and for full stack management, we have MIST suite. MIST is a management umbrella and monitoring umbrella for full stack for branch, meaning LAN, WLAN, and also what is coming right now is SD-WAN. So we have access points, switches, and gateways, actually two kinds of gateways for SD-WAN, and there is an intense telemetry going to the cloud from all of these three domains. The task for the cloud is to consume this data and then to produce some meaningful output, to correlate all of this data, and even this small robot is called Marvis. I'm not quite familiar with the universe of American superheroes, but I was told it's related to this. Nevertheless, this is virtual assistant. And this, the task for what can we expect from artificial intelligence? That it's intelligent. Yeah? So if it will conclude that there is some issue, it will provide not only description of the problem, but also propose some corrective actions, or maybe record packets from the moment when the problem occurs. So this is the promise of SD-WAN, and not only of SD-WAN, but also something called AI ops, artificial intelligence operations. So this is one part of the picture, but in order to complement it with advanced security, something called SSE, Secure Services Edge, this term was invented and coined, and there are some products on the market. Our incarnation of SSE is called Juniper Secure Edge. That's a new product or solution in the portfolio of Juniper. So basically, this is our branch here on the bottom, yeah, and we, in order to inspect traffic for some attacks or maybe just some data leaks, there are tunnels created into Juniper cloud location. Basically, we do it in Amazon Web Services as well. And then the magic, or not a magic, this is just zeros and ones, but the thing is happening right now. Advanced inspection. Juniper Secure Edge is complemented with Security Director Cloud as well. The integration is by means of API, but it works, let's say, out of the box, or I should say, out of the cloud. So the user interface is just Security Director Cloud. What does it do? It provides, so it's basically firewall in the cloud with some other stuff as well. It's not only firewall as a service, it provides also visibility, access control, integration with identity providers also, and it does advanced threat prevention, full feature parity with what we have right now on SRXs as well. But we also would expect some other features. This is the one of promises, a lot of promises today actually. So this is one of the promises of Secure Services Edge. We can do multiple services. We can do CASB, DLP, creating cloud security posture, things like that. But someone may ask, hey, Juniper, but you don't have CASB, you don't have DLP. Well, but we integrate. So under this management, what is hidden under this management is also integration with vendors, with other vendors who provide, let's say, transparently additional services. On the end of presentation, there is also provided link for CASB demo, so you can get familiar with it. How does it work technically? How it is integrated? For on-premises applications, our edge firewalls, which are here, let's say, there are tunnels established by default to 2 POP locations. Now this was future-looking statement because right now locations are in US, but in a few months, in Q1 next year, we will release also POPs in European Union. So all GDPR stuff will be just satisfied. Anyway, it can be tested already, right now. So there are tunnels and all the traffic might be subject for this inspection. What about roaming users and work from home scenarios and so on for mobile phones, for smartphones? Yes, we can provide proxy file, deliver it to the endpoint, and then web traffic will be just subject for inspection. Web traffic is the traffic of most applications. So that's how it's done. So let's conclude this part because there were a lot of topics and 20 minutes is a challenge. We just scratched the surface. Our proposal for journey to the cloud is to connect to cloud in a secure way and then try to get some, move some management efforts, try to get some visibility thanks to Security Director Cloud, but also for those who may do it, who are public cloud friendly, we can provide full SASE suite. Actually, we will provide very soon here in European Union, SD-WAN and Secure Services Edge. Of course, this is not a perfect cure for all diseases of the world and all cybersecurity incidents. There is always human interface, is the weakest chain. As Juniper, we are good in advanced networking. We are good in network security as well. And we are open. This aspect of openness was emphasized also by other presenters. So yes, we can cooperate even with competitors. For you who would like to play a thing, yes, you can get the link, capture the link from here, or just type into Google VIAS-REX trial. You can get it tried with all the licenses. And I have no other choice but to thank you. Najlepsza chwala.